First question, what was your reaction when you got told you had a regular role in the bill?
I was really excited about it. Yeah. I wasn't. I mean, the part, and I read the for that part. I really liked the scenes that I read, which weren't in the. I don't think they made it into the episode, the first episode. I mean, a version of it did, but not the bit I read. But I thought it was a really fantastic character. So, yeah, at the time, I think I was still going to be going up and doing the hospital drama up in I've forgotten what it's called, the one up in up in Skegness.
Michael.
Yes, but yeah, but that I thought that was in London. I wanted to be in London, and yeah, it was good. It was a really interesting character, so yeah, I was very excited.
So, how was the first day of filming, and was it weird putting on a police uniform?
Very strange being in the bill. I mean, that took some getting used to. Going, wow, am I in there? Because it's a show that had been around for 20 odd years when I joined it, and so you kind of it's a thing you grew up with, and you're suddenly in it. You're like, oh, am I in this? I'm in this now. Am I? All right, okay, cool. Yeah, so it's all that takes some getting used to be and to establish your character with all those other long running characters. But the character was so interesting, and I think it was only supposed to be there for 6 months. I think that was the original idea, and then it looked like it was working out, and everyone was pleased with the way it was developing. So we did it for longer. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
What plans were there for Callum, or what would you have liked to have happened to Callum?
I mean, it might have been interesting if he'd ended up in charge. That would have been quite interesting, because, like, if he'd been an inspector or something, because it would have gone all really horribly wrong. Because ultimately, he's a very flawed character, and sort of willing to do whatever to very opinionated and very had very fixed worldview, and so it would have been very destructive for everyone else. That might have been quite fun to do. I quite like the arc of the character, actually, if I'm honest. I thought it was, the sort of relationship he had with Smithy was very interesting, and that the sort of mutual kind of respect and mistrust was interesting to play. So I think they explored that really well. I think he maybe could have gone off the rails a bit more. It'd be quite funny if he'd gone to prison or something. That would have been quite fun.
For both, wouldn't it? That actually links up sort of into the next question. Did you ever feel that the storyline involving his family actually explored why he used to go rogue?
Yeah, it was only sort of touched on that with his family, and I think that the idea of his relationship with his father or his mother. I think there was. It was interesting. I think we could have explored that more. But actually, I always thought it was quite interesting that he didn't really know why he was like this. But he also reminded me of a lot of policemen I met who were very, you have to deal with a lot of awful situations and a lot of recidivism. People just continually redoing what they do, and I think it kind of wears you out. And also, you've got to go on your instincts a lot. And he really trusted his instincts. He really believed that what he thought was right. Which was not necessarily always the best thing to do, I think, especially if your worldview is very fixed. I mean, I remember thinking that I don't think we would have got on very well if I'd met him in person. But he was quite, because he wasn't a nice bloke. He was he was tough to be around. I mean, I was spending that long doing him as well. I was sort of with him a lot, and I realised that actually, I find it quite exhausting being him all the time, because he was just so uptight. I mean, a really interesting guy, and I know, and great fun to do. And right a lot of the time. That's what made him interesting. A lot of the stuff he did was right, but whether the ends justified the means, that was the constant thing with him. I think, do the ends justify the means? Yeah. For him, always. But if you step back from it, you go, probably not, maybe. Maybe not.
Do you think that Stone was corrupt, or did he just want justice by any means?
I think probably the latter. I mean, I think ultimately he probably was corrupt, but not for his own ends. He wasn't taking money or anything like that. It wasn't for him. It was for the set to fulfill that sense of justice. And so, yeah, I think it was just, by any means, really. I mean, you would have done anything, I think, ultimately, I mean, that's what I found fascinating about this when I auditioned for it, is talking this guy who he was convinced was a paedophile into jumping off the top of a building. And he said, because this guy's not going to get any justice, so this is the best thing for everyone. And you think, well, that is a very emotive response that most people would have in that situation. But whether that's the right thing to do or not, it's not the right thing to do. You have to, especially if you want a rule of law. If you want to try, you can't have one person, because what if that person is wrong? Then where do you end up? I mean, it's not so satisfying, but doesn't satisfy that need as well. But you do end up with a sort of more civil society.
Favourite episode you starred in as Callum?
Favourite episode? I quite like the episode where I got really badly beaten up. I enjoyed that episode. I like the director on that, and I like the. It was just an interesting thing to do, to see that they have this character be sort of humiliated, and then see what he did about it. It was fun to do, and all the makeup and all the prosthetics. That was fun. That was that would, I would say that's probably one of them, and maybe. And maybe the first episode where I taught the guy into jumping off the building, and I enjoyed that as well. It's a great way to come into a series.
Whose idea was it for Callum to ditch the long sleeves and the tie and just to have short sleeves?
I think it was mine. I think there was an element. I just said, I don't think I want to wear a tie. Can I get away with not wearing a tie? And they were like, I think the head of wardrobe was like, yeah. And then some other people said I couldn't do it. Then I spoke to some policemen, and they were like, yeah, you can do that. So I did. And I just thought it was something. I mean, there was a part of me that thought maybe he should have been completely buttoned up and done everything by the book. But then everyone else was doing that. So a kind of way I wanted him to sort of step outside of that, or, something slightly different about him in that way. And that was a way of showing it as well, I think. At times as well. Yeah. So
favourite scene you filmed with Alex Walkinshaw?
We had a great punch up once. That was fun. We had this big old fight at the was it a I think it was a training centre or something. I think that was the storyline. And then we took about 5 hours to just fight, which was just great fun. And we had a laugh doing that. Yeah. Both of us just, a couple of actors just pretended to knock the 6 bells out of each other. But it was good. No, that was good fun with him. I had a lot of fun with Alex, actually. We got on really well, and had some, really interesting, good scenes together. But that one was a memorable one.
So as a whole, favourite memory from the bill?
Probably with all the people working there. I got on really well with them. I really liked them. I think it's interesting because the character I was playing was, he was a prick, but a really interesting and kind of like really complex guy. But I think there's when you're in those shows, there's an element of having a lot of that character around with you. You have to step outside it and make sure people don't think you're a prick. So hopefully I managed to do that. But I think the people, I enjoyed working with all the other actors on it, and it was, I mean, the last series was strange because the building was a lot more empty than it had been before, so that was a slightly odd experience, but the storylines were interesting. But the people, I think, and there was huge. It was a huge endeavor down there. And they were all really lovely people, and it was a sort of great shame in that way that it ended, because it gave a lot of people a lot of work, and and a lot of actors, it was their way into doing telly, So it was a great show. But I'd say all the people,
Which character, if you hadn't been Stone, which character would you have loved to have played?
If I hadn't been Stone?
Yeah.
I don't think I would have gone into it. I honestly don't think I would have gone into it, because that's what I thought. Because I played really nice characters a lot before that, or just decent characters. So he was, and I thought, well, that's fascinating to do, and really, yeah. I don't think I would have. No, I don't think I would have. I probably would have still ended up being the '60s Doctor for a bit longer, but. he was such an interesting character. I thought you thought, oh man, that's a really, really interesting, really great. Yeah. No, I don't think I would have done it.
Actually, like you just said, that you're playing all these nice characters, and you get somebody like Callum. It's like, yeah.
I mean, it's actually a lot more fun to play someone like that, where you think, oh man, this guy's horrible, but he's kind of right. That's annoying, and it's fun. It makes it really interesting to play. Especially if you think you've got to, I say that, I talk about him pejoratively, but if you're playing a character, you have to, appreciate things about him. And I definitely, he's the sort of person that it's good to play because he's very resilient. And I think that was why I said about the scene where he gets beaten up being a really interesting one to play, because this is somebody who's really sort of tough and resilient, and you see him made vulnerable. So it was pretty interesting in that way. I think there was a couple of times that the sort of love interest that he had that I think I remember playing a scene. I think I might have got one thing I did a scene. I think I might have got upset in one of these scenes or something. I can't remember. I think it was maybe when somebody got blown up. That was good fun as well. When there was a bomb blast, that was really fun to do as a sequence. I'm just ripping off there.
Now, that links into the next question, actually. What the scene that you're talking about is when PC Keen, Emma dies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there was something really interesting about that. I can't remember whether I did or not. I think I ended up crying in this scene and stuff, I think. And I remember in one of those around that moment, and I really wish I hadn't done that, because I think he wouldn't do that. He just wouldn't do it. He just internalized all of it. And there was at the time, you want to be an actor, you're going to want to moat and you want to find it, but I think the probably more interesting choice would have been to not do that, to just lock it down. And then he would have become even more the character that he was. So sort of those things that fuel a person like that. Yeah. And if he did get upset, he was just never let anybody see that. Never, But yeah, that whole relationship was a really interesting storyline for him to be, again, with someone like that. When you see them made vulnerable by something, it's that becomes really interesting to play, because they're a really lovely character. They're generally a bit more vulnerable anyway, and it's slightly less of an art, less of a story arc to go from really locked in tight to being open. Yeah.
Nicely links into the next question. Do you think Emma and Callum would have ever got together, or would you have ever liked Callum to have a relationship?
I don't think he was capable of a relationship, honestly, if I'm honest. I think he might have been with a dog or something. He should have had a dog. He definitely, he should have had a dog. Or maybe a cat. No, a dog. I think that, if anything happened to that dog, he'd never have another one. I think he's a sort of character who, I just don't think he not that he didn't deserve a relationship, he just would not have been capable of maintaining it, because he was all about the work. Yeah.
How did you feel about the on-screen death of PC Keen? And to add on, how did you feel about the whole storyline regarding the bombing, etc.?
Yeah, I thought there was a good storyline, and I thought that it was interesting to have a relationship there, to have that open up, and to have him again made vulnerable. But with a character like that, I think you have to. That's what I mean. But I kind of wish I had been less demonstrative with the impact of it. Probably, I think that's probably because when I look back, I think that wouldn't have made those choices now. But I think he. I think it was really interesting to see him, how he reacts in that scenario, and how he, what happens if he suddenly, what's this strange feeling I've got? Oh, it's love. What is this? What's happening to me? And the bombing, I can't actually remember all the lead up to that. I just remember clearly the scene in there, and like doing like CPR and stuff and all that, and it being. a really, really interesting and fun sequence to do. I mean, just from that point of view, but also you couldn't, knowing that it was all going to look good and be like emotional. And but I can't really remember. You might have to remind me a bit about that storyline up to that point. So anyway, but I mean, I think their relationship was you know, it was, and the way we, you know, played it out was good. I think. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was a shame that, you know, I think that was, you know, I don't know, not great that she then left the series, but you know.
Was it difficult to come back to the bill as Callum after being in it as Carl Radford?
No, because it had been a while. I mean, a bit long while. I think that was like my first TV job. I think was the Carl Radford first or second TV job. And again, that was an interesting character as well. That was, I quite enjoyed playing him as well. No, it wasn't. It was the third time I've been in it. What am I talking about? That's the third time I've been in it. I was in it. That was the first thing. And then Carl Radford was like 2 years before, was it? Or something? I can't remember. No, well, no. I was quite surprised, really. I thought, well, you know, I've been in it. That they won't bring me back for that. But then, you know, it worked out. No, it wasn't. It wasn't strange because it was a completely different character. Yeah.
Linking on to that, did you prefer playing Carl or Callum, even though obviously Carl wasn't in it as much?
Definitely Callum.
Good choice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really like playing it. All the stuff I say about him, I really enjoyed playing that character. But it was exhausting being there because he was just in that mindset all the time, and when you're going in pretty much every day being a person who's you know, he's just uptight and grumpy all the time. You have to make a real effort to not be uptight and grumpy all the time yourself. So,
did you take any memorabilia from the set?
No, but I have got a truncheon somewhere. They give you a truncheon, you know, a Sunhill with Sunhill and Sergeant Sam Callis, I think it says, as a parting gift. I don't think I've got any memorabilia. No, I haven't got any uniform or anything. I mean, I might have something somewhere, but I don't think so.
What did you think of the format of the show and how it had changed over the years? And do you think it changed for the better?
I think when I went into it, the format was, I think, from my point of view, I think it was better than it was before. I didn't like it when it got quite soapy for a while, and I didn't watch it through that. That wasn't my thing at that point. And I think the format was pretty good when I went into it. And actually, when it went to 9 o'clock, from an actor's point of view, it was more interesting to do because you could do a bit more and explore some slightly harder storylines. So I think, from my point of view, I think it improved. But I don't know whether the show was. I think the writing was on the wall when it went to 9 o'clock anyway. Really, it wasn't that they weren't going to hang on to it after that, which is a shame. But I guess all these things have their life, don't they? You know.
It's what it is.
No, I think I'd say, from my point of view, I think it got better. It might not be. If you're a big Bill fan, you may well disagree with that. But.
Do you think it was a shame that the bill was cancelled?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think that it. Not for me. I don't know how much longer it would have been in there anyway. But I think as a means of work for a lot of people, and not just the people who worked on the show. There were sort of ancillary jobs for people who were, supplying the show and stuff. And I think just an enormous amount of livings stopped when that stopped. So, and people had quite a tough time, I think, after that. So it was, networks don't necessarily have a responsibility to keep these things just for that reason. Obviously, they're businesses, but I do think it's a shame because I think it was well loved, and we're still getting, I don't know, was it 4 million views or something, which is an enormous amount of viewers now. I mean, nothing really gets that much. I remember doing London's Burning and it got 14.5 million at one point, and then I think it dropped down to 9 million, and they went, well, 8.5. It's got to go. You were like, what? Well, now, for a show to get anywhere, and north of 4 million is doing really well. So I think just the world changed. It was just sort of at the wrong time. But, and also I get they had a different agenda at ITV. So, they had a plan. But yeah, I think it's a shame because I think it could still be going now and would still be doing well and people would still be watching it.
If the bill was to come back, would you go back? And what do you think Callum would be doing?
Would I go back and do that? I honestly don't know whether I'd go back and do that. I mean, I think I'd like to. I mean, he'd still be a sergeant. I mean, definitely still be a sergeant. Or maybe back to being, might have been busted down for something that he did. Yeah. Might be quite fun to go back and see what he was doing. Where, yeah. I mean, I think he's probably quite consistent. He would still be doing the same stuff, just maybe started drinking. Or something like that, Yeah. But I know there was talk about it. There was talk about it coming back or something in some form or another. I have no idea about whether that was true or not.
How did you know you wanted to be an actor?
I did it from a very young age. And then I had a great drama teacher at school, Mrs. Smith, who was very encouraging. And I just decided to put all my eggs in that basket. Because it was the choice of going to the Irish University and I wanted to do English literature. But I thought, no, acting, that would be more fun. So I did that. But it was mainly my teacher. She was very encouraging. And I did a lot of youth theatre and stuff. And yeah, got into it that way and it just became like a vocation, really. And inspiring, looking at go to the theatre and looking at people and being inspired and thinking, I really want to get up there and do that.
Yeah.
Be one of those. It's really effective and you can change people's lives with it. You really can and help people understand different ways of thinking and changing their views. And I think it's really valuable and also really valuable as people do, even if you don't want to be an actor. It's just good to be able to get up and communicate with other people because a lot of people have to do that in their jobs anyway. So I think if you get a chance to do drama at school, it should be taught all the time. It is definitely denigrated at school and it's a silly subject because it's just mucking about, but actually it's all about communication, really.
What do you prefer, writing or acting, even though they are different?
Well, I love both of them. I've sort of got to the point where with acting that I love, it just feels like it's just very stress-free experience. I mean, it's hard work, but I don't have any responsibility to anything else apart from the character. So that's why I really enjoy that about that now. And writing I like writing with other people. I find that. So it's a real collaborative experience. So, but I'm probably on balance, I'd say the acting.
How did you get into the animation and video side of things? Were you always interested in it?
Yeah, always interested in it, yeah. And I love doing I love making films. I like, and the animation is just something I do. It's a sort of offshoot of art that I do in painting and sculpting, and it's just because I don't have a studio space at the moment, so I like when I'm not getting a chance to do that, then I will. It's like an outlet for me to just explore stuff, and it's especially anime. And then I'm doing some other animation work at the moment as well. I just find that it's quite meditative because you just spend hours doing it. I mean, it depends a lot depending on what you're doing, but some of them it can take a long time to do, and it's just I think I clearly am a creative person, and I need to get it out of me, otherwise I get a bit weird.
What has been your favourite art, film or animation piece you've done?
I've done? Well, I made the massive 8-foot sculpture, which currently sits outside my house and scares people, which I like a lot. I did a film with my brother That's really probably the last thing I filmed and directed, because I just sort of fell out of love with him after he died. So I kind of went, well, I don't think I want to do that for a while. Who knows? Maybe I'll do that again, but I just have to wait and see if that mojo comes back. But Viking, that was cool. And that was great. I loved that very much. And what was the other bit? Was the
film animation or art pieces?
Yeah, I'd say those two. Yeah.
Which uniform have you preferred wearing? Police, fire, army, or critical care doctor / paramedic from Callis?
I think probably the army one. The fireman one was quite uncomfortable, just like wearing a duvet. I mean, you want it on if you're going into a burning building, obviously. And yeah, I think probably I'd say the army one. Yeah.
Would you ever like to be in another long-running drama?
Depending on the character, really. I think probably, yeah. If the character was someone that you think, oh, I could spend a long time with this person, a year of your life being that person, then I think I probably would do it again. But it would be, if the character was someone you went, oh, I can definitely explore this and take this, go on a journey with this character, and because it's got to be satisfying. You're going to be going in and doing it every day, and it's because it takes a lot of energy and effort to commit to being that person, especially if you really want to do it well. So never say never.
We'll soon see. Do you keep in contact with anyone from the shows you filmed?
I speak to. I've not spoken to Alex Walkinshaw for a while, actually, but Doug Rao, speak to Dougie Rao, Alex, Andrew Lancel.
Oh yeah.
A few of the other. We sort of. I am still in contact with people. But life kind of, you have children and everything. Just kind of you get slightly sidetracked with raising kids, and in a great way. So I don't really see many people. I mean, Tristan Gemmell, I speak to him from London's Burning, and Terry Alderton, I used to speak to him as well. Those guys. We have a laugh, meet up occasionally, but like everyone sort of spreads out a bit, so you don't get to see them as much as you might want to.
Have you any advice for any budding actors out there?
You just got to really believe that you can do it and go for it, but you'll be resilient because it's a really tough industry. And you will have your moments of riding the wave, and then you've just got to ride it, be able to see it through the troughs, really, because it can be tough in that way, especially for women. I mean, it's tough enough for guys, but I think women have a tough time in this industry, which is a hard industry, because a lot of people want to do it, and not necessarily for all for the same reasons, but I think if you really want to do it and it's what you want more than anything, then no one will be able to stop you from trying it. And then you've just got to go through the experience of it either being a success and you're making a living out of it, or it maybe doing that and then giving you a hard time, or maybe never working out at all. And then it's just the way it is, man. If you sort of think why you want to do it, if you're happy to do it and you can make a living doing something else at the same time, fantastic. Take the stress out of it. But most people can't. Most people want to, you've got to commit to it and you want to make money at it. And I've been very blessed in that regard. But I think that, I would say that have that commitment to it. And if you don't have that commitment to it, maybe think about doing something else, because it's a proper journey.
Arts is full stop, isn't it? Really, it's one of those things that you've got to be. You want to do it, you've got to push forward with everything.
Yeah. I don't think you should go into doing anything like that for the money.
No.
You might get money. I mean, you might make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you probably, the law of averages says that you won't. For the 90% of actors out of work at any one time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that many people that work consistently. The thing about being creative is you can be creative in more than one way. It just depends what you like. I've always enjoyed being creative in more than one way. I mean, and I guess that way that I could describe myself as an artist, a performing artist, a visual artist, right? And I get a lot of satisfaction from doing all of those things, really, which I think I'm quite lucky about. Because if you're not working as an actor, I've still got to do something creative. And I would hate to not be able to do that and explore
that. Have you ever learnt a new skill for any of the shows that you've done or films?
Yeah. Learn how to horse ride. Learn how to fire a gun. Learn how to drive a fire engine. I mean, yeah. So yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how applicable any of those skills are.
Can you speak any other languages?
I can speak a bit of Spanish, recently, and a bit of French, but I'm pretty broken with. I mean, I can actually understand more French now because my vocabulary is gone pretty much completely with French. But we lived out there for a while, so I was, my French is pretty good then. Not anymore.
What was working with Ross Kemp like?
Good fun, yeah, just fun. Yeah, we had that whole show was silly but fun, great fun. I know a lot of people really love it. But I got the scripts for that. I think there was episodes in Colombia, I don't know whether it was Afghanistan, might have been, and somewhere else. And I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to get to travel. I'm going to get to do some stuff. All of it filmed just off the A40 outside London. I was like, come on, really? Really? Come on.
Exotic holiday.
Anywhere to just slightly outside the M25. So that was a bit, but yeah, we had fun doing that, and all the people. I've been very blessed in that I've never worked with anybody who I've gone, wow, we do not get on.
Yeah.
I mean, they might feel that about me, but I've never felt that.
Did you and Christopher Fox ever talk about Ultimate Force when you were on the build together?
I mean, I think it must have come up a few times, but I don't remember any. Because I didn't do much with Chris on the bill. I mean, we didn't see each other that much because he was obviously playing. I thought his character was pretty interesting as well. Yeah. And he was a sort of broken character as well. It was interesting. We both come from that show. We play slightly broken characters. But it might have been really interesting to do something with those two characters, actually. That might have been quite fun. They would have got into some real trouble. No, I don't think we had, because he was in Ultimate Force a couple more series than me, I think. I've seen Chris for a long time, I hope as well. I don't really know what's happening when I haven't seen him. But but like I said, we didn't really work with each other that much on that. But I'm sure we must have talked about firing guns in just off the A40.
First question is, did you used to watch London's Burning before you joined?
No, I don't think I did. Did I? No, I don't think I'm not actually, to be honest, I'm not a huge TV watcher. I prefer watching films than TV. Okay, because once I get sucked into it, like my wife has got me sucked into watching Succession, which is just brilliant. But then I know hours of my life given over to watch the thing, and I kind of go, but I quite like the way a film works, and you get it's all done and dusted after that an hour and a half. I mean, I can see why because I think probably I get slightly obsessed and I really need to know, and then I'll end up binging for hours watching episode. But at the time, no, I don't think I think I must have watched it because it was a huge show. I mean, I must watch a bit, but I wasn't like a big fan or anything going into it. But it was a great fun show to be part of.
Who was your favourite character to act alongside?
I think Michael Garner's character was great. I think he's a great actor. And then Connor Byrne, I did quite a lot with him. I can't remember Connor's character was, but no, I got on really well with those guys. And in fact, and then Tristan, that was a fun character to play because Adam was, just a bit gullible and a bit not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and but he was a lovely bloke, and was easily manipulated by someone like Tristan Gemble's character, and that was for that. Yeah, maybe Tristan's character, maybe. I can't remember the name of Tristan's character, if I'm honest.
Frank was Tristan's character.
Frank, that was, yes, Frank.
We'll get there at the end. What did you think when you found out they were killing Recall off?
Well, he'd been in it a long time, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Ben on But we used to play tennis together, Ben and I. I thought it was pretty sad. I don't know what the circumstances of that, whether he wanted to go or not, whether he wanted to leave the show. I honestly can't remember. But obviously, we're working with someone. You don't want them to leave. You don't want them to go. And I think that did he have a heart attack? I can't remember whether he had a heart attack. That was it. Yeah. It's always a bit sad when you're losing a fellow actor and they go off and do something else. But that's just the way it is. You go, oh, that's the person's storyline. Okay, fine. As long as they're leaving and they're happy leaving, then it's fine. I think it's pretty miserable if they're like, I really don't want to go and they're killing me. And that gets a bit sad.
What storylines would you have liked Adam to have had?
I'd like him to have been a bit less stupid. If I'm honest. I think I like him a lot. He was fun, a lovely guy. But you go, come on, mate. Come on, grow up. Grow up a bit. I was very young when I was doing that show as well. But it would be quite fun to do to someone, I think, the thing that I was impressed on me when I worked on that show was how much I like firemen. I think they're just a fantastic bunch of people, fire officers, men and women, and they're all just incredibly brave. And I was just sort of struck by that. I remember sitting down with these guys telling me stories about going the King's Cross fire, and they were talking about going the King's Cross fire. It was a massive fire, awful experiences, and how they would talk about it. And I think it would have been more. I'd like to have had more storylines with Adam, where it was a bit heavier, probably, just to have him really experience some. Just a bit heavier, probably. That would have been more fun with him. But I got to do some amazing stunts on that show, which you don't do anymore, I don't think. They spent a lot of money on it. Yeah, I know, really. I mean, really. I think I said on that other thing about ended up driving a fire engine down Hackney High Street, 50 miles an hour. I'm an actor. I mean, I knew how to drive it because you taught how to drive it and you learn how to do it. Got your license to do that. But nevertheless, but I remember thinking, this is just great fun. All these cars pulling out of the way. I did think that, yeah. And then going up these like 80-foot ladders and things on the side of a building, going, what am I doing up here? This is great. And all the explosions and all that sort of stuff. I mean, all those things are just fun to be part of, because apart from that, there's a lot of money involved with them as well. It is, you have a weight of responsibility on you when you're doing that stuff, where you go, right, there's tens of thousands of pounds being spent on this, so it is beholden on you to get it right. Know your stuff. And more sometimes, but yeah.
Would you have changed Adam's personality if you could have done?
Yeah, I would have made him less stupid.
Lovable but stupid.
Well, not. He wasn't stupid, was he? But he was. He was just a bit too gullible. You're like, come on, mate. Come on now. Just a nice guy, But he just needs, yeah. I did. I mean, I liked him a lot. And because his family were just a bit wrong. Were they wrong amongst his family? I can't remember his family. Were a bit...
Yeah, part of them were, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been just a bit more to see that sort of side in him and see that battle with it in a bit, rather than just being, it's all good. It could have been a bit more interesting to have him been a bit more tempted by that, perhaps, and then not do it.
Yeah. Right. See you later, Sam. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.